Bring it! Ride on! Nice! I'm toast. I'm toast. I'm toast. Ride on! Nice! Ride on! I'm toast. Hammer time!
More involved. It's just this huge, to me, a great community. There's women coming up going, I get how this could fit into my life.
What I think is so nice about Swift Academy.
Welcome to
I really
KISS
think
Racing
that
on
it
Zwift.
was,
Here you will
inspiring
find
lots of
enjoyment,
women to
pain and Type 2
take
fun.
part in this adventure. Maybe
Make sure you
they've
have KISS
gone
in your
far
surname
beyond
followed
their
by
own
your racing cat in brackets. This can be done via the Zwift mobile link
How
or
far
by
I
the
got
menu
into this,
button.
there were 1,200
Click the
females
menu
that
button
joined,
on the bottom
and,
left of your
there were
screen,
100 females
and
that
then by
finished.
using the
It was
edit pencil
I
icon,
can't believe
you
how-
can change your
how
name.
Yes, it's hard.
See how others in the
You can
group
do
have
it,
their
you know,
names set up?
do your best,
You should follow
because
this
it's
style.
not just physical side.
Power-ups are allowed for this race,
Determination
and you can also ride
and
any
to
bike
keep
of your
your
choice.
confidence in anything else
Try
you
and
do,
grab a
not
wheel
just
or work
cycling.
together in groups. The draft will help everyone out and also make for a great race.
From around the world.
You will see the time of those in
Find out
front
if you
start
have
to
what
come
it
down.
takes to go pro.
Results will be found on
not wait,
zwiftpower.com
just
after the race,
Be the
but
best
please be
cyclist you can
patient
be.
and wait for the official
over to
result banner to appear before
academy.zwift.com
asking any
to find out
questions
more
regarding
and sign up
placings.
today.
Now make sure your fan is turned on, you have a towel nearby, and a full bidon ready.
Right on.
Have fun and race on.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the KISS Europe race out on the Richmond Worlds course. Super excited, actually, for this course. We haven't seen it in a little while. We're going to be doing 2 laps out on the UCI course, so it's going to be flat up front and then some super intense climbing. You just see a promo about last year's Zwift Academy, and the finishers. The Zwift Academy is launching at the end of this week on September 1st, and there is a men's and a women's this year, open to all ages and abilities to ride for both the men's and the women's. The top 10 for the men's and the U23 riders advance to semifinals. Top 10 of the women's advance as well to the semifinals. As you can see there, all the information on both of the academies. Want to sign up for that? I'm going to be leading some rides. Super excited to be doing so. They're all getting all set up for the Zwift Academy rides, races, and the qualifications. The riders are just about to take off out on the course, about 5 seconds or so. We're going to get lined up with them, and looks to be a pretty fast race out there today. A lot of riders showing up, it looks like, for the Richmond Worlds course today. So let's get right into the action. We'll talk some more about some of the other things going on in the community as the race goes on. So into the A category right from the get-go, we do have Mr. Quentin Lefebvre coming out of France, it looks like, taking up the lead, but then backs off a little bit, about 5.0 watts per kilogram. It does look like all the riders are mixed together, so I can see the A, the B, the C, and the D riders all together out on course, but they are marked on the right hand side, as you can see, an A, a B, a C, and a D signification, signifying what category that they are racing in. So it is a mass start today all together amongst the riders. If you're wondering what the categories are all about, let's go over the rules for the KISS races out there today and what the categories might signify for some of the riders out there today. So the race information is the KISS Europe night race. Riders should have KISS in their name. Some of them have put it in there, as you can see on the far right hand side, riders nearby. Power-ups are allowed at all times during the KISS race, so it is a fully gamified race. All bikes are allowed, so if somebody wanted to jump onto a TT bike, they could do so, although a lot of riders do not do that because there isn't a whole lot of advantage with how much a pack does give you an advantage out on course with the drafting that is in game. You do use your FTP in order to pick the correct category, and the categories are as follows. The functional, well, first of all, what is functional threshold power? Some of you guys might be wanting to know. The categories are, though, as you can see here, 4.0 watts per kilogram or higher. A category, B category 3.2 to 3.9, C category 2.5 to 3.1, and D categories are 1.0 to 2.4 or so. And then for your functional threshold power, then Zwift races are categorized by your watts per kilogram, your FTP divided by your body weight, your functional threshold power divided by your body weight, and that is your ratio there. So what is an FTP? Functional threshold power is the maximum wattage that you can sustain for 60 minutes straight. And so in the upper left hand corner here on Zwift, as you can see, 360 watts, 353 watts that Gamma is putting out from Team PTZ as they head up the cobblestones. MG here out of the USA, actually looking over his shoulder, trying to get a little bit of a break here, putting on 480 watts. And on the far right hand side, in conjunction with those watts rising and falling there, you see the ratio on the far right hand side where my cursor is and the riders nearby, changing continually right alongside the wattage changes in the upper left hand corner. So that is the ratio continuing. And if riders can hold for 1 hour straight a ratio of 4.0 or He came into the climb, beaten like a butterfly, pretty hot, and then bumped it up another 20 beats. He tweeted out actually that he set a new max heart rate from his garage, hammering himself against a bunch of pixels out. Chasing the pixels, boys and girls, nothing harder. The best training there is out there. And I think maybe got a little bit of a taste of that prior to hitting up the CVR World Cup that's going to be happening in Paris. You can see the avatars now heading down into the industrial park. Straczynski now leading it out at 9.3 watts per kilogram. As you can see, a little bit of a gap now opening up, and now bats it off to 0. Grabs that Sagan tuck real quickly here. 1 second up though, and it doesn't look like it's going anywhere as MD now jumps right on with that arrow power up. That might be a threat actually. Arrow power up on the downhill into the industrial park. They're at a negative 4.2% gradient right now. He's sitting at 44 miles per hour. Looking over the shoulder now, you can see a little bit of a gap, but I'm not sure it's going to go much of anywhere as Watson's just sitting at about 3.8 watts per kilogram on the front end of that pack, chasing everything down. A lot of B riders getting some advantage here, hanging out in and amongst the A's here. As you can see, that things have definitely split up. I think it's going to be like this until they hit the climbs, and then we will see the cream of the crop here rise to the top in the A category as well as the B category, and who's going to be able to win this, even though they did get a little bit of advantage hanging out with some at least A category riders. More like a mass start out there today, which is kind of fun to see sometimes too, to see how things match up. And it actually is almost like a testing grounds to say, hey, some of the B riders who we've been saying you might need to get an upgrade. You've been over category limits, over 4.0 watts per kilogram for a little while here in your 20-minute power over on zippower.com. It's a little bit of a proving ground to say, hey, you hung out with the A-boys for quite a while there, and you even beat some of the A-boys that are out there. Maybe it's time to grab that A category marker and jump into those races to increase, because a lot of times I think people are a little intimidated or just want to back off and take them podiums. So maybe this is a great way to jump into the A category and show how you match up against those boys and girls. Dank of America, good to see you hanging out over at the Mixer channel. This is Zwift, a massive multiplayer online game in which riders are actually putting out real efforts on real bikes right now. So I'm going to go ahead and show you real quickly here exactly. I wish I had a rider on board right now. I'd be able to show you even closer what exactly is happening. But before they go ahead and hit the climbs here, as you can see here, we've got a little bit of a Zwift promo video from quite a while back, but these are actual riders. You can see Eric Min there jumping on his bike, logging into Zwift. His bike actually communicates his power in wattages. You can see above me in the live racing there in the upper left-hand corner, there's a wattage number that keeps on changing. That's actual power that is being put out by the riders actually as they are competing against each other out on course. There's real-world dynamics actually, just like in pack dynamics. So there's drafting in game actually. So there's all of the same things that you see in real life that happen in the environment of cycling. You get in the world of Zwift. The drafting, the gradients on the climbs, the need to put out more power for how much you weigh as you head up those climbs, the feeling of the climbs if you have a smart trainer. Did I just see Hannah Slade actually in and amongst the front runners actually, and so that is what Zwift's all about. You can see Eric Ming there going for the KOM against a couple of the girls out there on Zwift in this promo here, and he actually, I believe he gets beat to the line in the video. So that's what Zwift is all about, and thanks a lot for the question. I appreciate you, Dank of America. We usually over at the Twitch and the Mixer channel get a question like, what the heck is this? Are you controlling these avatars? Is this a race? And they think it's like the Tour de France game that's out there, and the cycling simulator Tour de France game, and that is not what's happening here. I didn't just send avatars out to race against each other. This is actual real riders with real heart rates and real wattages powering these avatars racing each other right now. Moving forward now, let's go ahead and see. They're going to start lining up for the climbs, though. This is where it's about to get real exciting here, boys and girls. We're going to see who's going to make the front group. It always breaks apart here, and why Watson going super early, taking a, it looks like tip from Ian Bibby last week as we saw an attack early on before actually the uphill, able to put a few off guard and maybe get away, but it doesn't look like it's going to be happening here as Johan Gren shuts that down immediately. You got to have pro numbers maybe to make that happen though. But Gren now with the counter here and with that feather power up 7.0 watts per kilogram, lightening up his avatar and lighten up the pavement on that green Tron bike, looking over his shoulder there. The Melty Man trying to chase that down here. 148 beats per minute coming from him out of Canada for the KRT team. PTZ duo though on the front with Gamma and Gren. Then we got Szerzynski chasing it down from Team Poland here. International field showing up today. Sweden, Canada. We've got Poland up at the front as well as Portugal all representing. Hazelstead chasing it down there out of Norway, but the UK here with Jay Scott as well as Ellis now chasing that down. Sternfalk there out of Norway trying to chase it down as well for Vision Cycling to see who can make that happen up and over the top of the cobbles of Libby Hill. Innovation with G. Richardson. Gavin now trying to chase that down as well. CVR World Cup out of London participant. We'll see if he can make the break here, but Quentin LeFay here now also with the feather power up just trying to hang on. 178 beats per minute coming from the Frenchman here. Can he represent and make it happen? We'll give him a ride on his encouragement. D. Fallberg now out of the US of A, the first US American that we've seen just trying to hang on to the back end of this pack. We'll see if he can represent here as well and make it happen. Burton is here from the TFC Friday Criterion with the pink shots and the yellow kit. Absolutely love it. Good to see you, Burton, out on course. 5.5 watts per kilogram, 189 beats per minute. Will he make the break? Not sure. Fleetwood there though off the back. He's going to be the first, I think, amongst the chase group. As Gama's kitting 9 watts per kilogram, but he's trying to chase down the Melty Man, who has instigated another break off the front after Libby Hill. Mateus here, right along with Sternfalk, 182. We see Szerzynski, Hazelstead, 154. Gama there off the back just a little bit, trying to use that drafting power up to not use quite as much power, but he doesn't have a wheel to hang on to it, so it's not helping at this point. You have to be within 5 meters in order to hang on to the wheel and get any advantage from that. So Gama, they're wasting that drafting power up, but now we're seeing up at the front now Sternfalk right on with Gren now throwing down a drafting power up, getting a little bit extra speed and kicking it into 23rd Street. Quick little climb, about 15 to 20 seconds here. We're going to see huge numbers as it's such a quick, sharp sprint up over the top 10. 11 watts per kilogram now coming from Gren, trying to break things apart again. It's in succession over and over again. You kick it up over the top into Libby Hill with really high heart rate. You try and get that recovery as quickly as possible, and then you kick one more time before they hit Governor Street. And you can see it's already starting to put the suffering into the legs as Sternfalk here off the back. The Melty Man going with Gren. Szerzynski's here as well, 178. Hazelstead now just trying to hang on, and it's every man for himself at this point, boys and girls, as it is 2-second difference between Sternfalk, as you can see here, and Mateus bike point. Hazelstead just trying to hang on to that wheel right behind here. Gren now really instigated some things over the top of 23rd Street. 24 seconds, excuse me, it wasn't about 15 to 20. 24-second climb from Gren there. Solid effort. Melty Man with 25.31. We are seeing Sternfalk there with a 25.94. Szerzynski there about 1 second back, but was able to hang on as we do have a lead group now. If Sternfalk can hang on to this pace here, he'll be 4 off the front as they head into Governor Street. Governor Street about a 3 to 4 minute climb, absolutely suffering. And here we go with, we can see Hazelstead and then Gama now a little ways off the back here. 2-3 seconds is the difference. It looks like it's going to be a group of 5 at the front, maybe 6 if Gama along with Scott. Richardson trying to come back. Fallberg here, I don't think he's going to see the front again at 192 beats per minute out of the US of A. He's going to go back to LeFay, I think, right along with Burton and form a chase group on the flatter sections of the course out on the UCI World Richmond's course. For those of you who do not know, this is actually the UCI Richmond's World course that the World Championship course from 2015 that Zwift replicated actually in game here. Really cool addition to the world of Zwift. Zwift, and so you can ride the World Championship course. It is only available once a month at this point, but it's one of the most exciting race courses out on Zwift, hands down. The tactics up front on the flatter parts of the course, and then the 3 climbs in succession always make it rapid attacks toward the end and make it extremely interesting to watch people throw down everything that they can into those climbs. So now Suzinski here, 5.7 watts per kilogram, 170 beats per minute, using a little bit of a drafting power-up. I don't think he's really interested in holding on to that for too long, as it's not one of the stronger power-ups out on Zwift here. So Suzinski, 6.3 watts per kilogram. Gren now 5.2. Scott there, 6.2. 189 beats per minute. Some really high heart rate still. As you can see, not a whole lot of recovery just yet before they hit the climb. About halfway up Governor Street, we don't see any attacks just yet. Gama here suffering on the back on that Tron bike, trying to close things back down. We'll see if he can hang on to the start-finish line. Maybe grab another power-up for a little bit of advantage and rest up here. They do grab power-ups every time they head through a sprint banner, a start-finish line, or a KOM banner. So there's a lot of opportunity out on this course, since there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places out on this course within 20 minutes to grab power-ups, actually. So if you want to look for a little bit of RNG to be in your favor, you might be able to grab 5 different power-ups throughout the lap and use those. And if you were able to get some really good, get really, really lucky, actually, you could actually have arrow after arrow, or arrow into feather into arrow power-up. And if you're using those continually, that's a solid few minutes where you have a pretty good buffer advantage out on course there, if you want to try and roll the dice on that. All right, let's go ahead and see here if there's anything coming in through the social media here. Lee Gosden saying, I find Richmond harder than London and Watopia. Richmond is a fairly hard course. I'd have to agree with you. As far as more difficult, that's interesting. I do find it to be a difficult course because everybody's going the same direction, and I think there's always somebody to compete against. And I feel like also there's the last 3 climbs that are at the end. If you're going for a good time up above me, as you can see here, for those of you who might not know about it, there's the fastest time for the whole course. So right now they just did a 21:01, which is absolutely insane, flying fast. But Mateus there with a 21:01 holds on to the orange jersey. And if you're going for a fast time with that orange jersey, you got a lot of people to be competing against and pushing, and then you've got those 3 climbs at the end, so you might have put out a whole lot out there to try and hold on to a solid time all the way until you hit those 3 climbs. It was a fairly flat course. You hit the industrial park, you're feeling good, and then there's Libby, followed by 23rd Street and Governor all the way to the grind to the end. And it's just false flat the entire way into the finishing chute, actually, on the Governor Street climb. So definitely, I think that might have something to do with why it feels a little bit difficult. But thanks a lot for the question, Lee Gosling. I really appreciate it coming through here. I did see, I believe, Hannah Slade out on course representing out there for the women out on course. Let's go ahead and see if I was correct about that. She was in amongst the front runners here prior to the climbs. Yes, I am correct. They're coming out of Great Britain, riding in the B category. Hannah Slade, she was a part of the CVR World Cup in London. She's got 3 races out on Zwift, it looks like, and we are seeing PRS race back on, let's see here, the 6th of August, actually. Took a 4th place. Solid effort there for Hannah back on the 6th of August, as well as back on June 18th. She did the KISS Sunday Europe race. So Hannah Slade looks like, yeah, 4th place amongst the boys in the B race, actually, up against David Armstrong taking first back on Ed Graham, and then Nick Belkowski in that Project Race series, actually. That was out on, it looks like, the classic course out on London. So good to see Hannah out on course here and hammering away. Let's see, it looks like she's currently sitting in a top 10 position amongst the B riders right now, and is in and amongst, it looks like, K Salt, P Hogan, R Tubbs, as well as D Loss, all making up a chase group right now, trying to bring back, it looks like, Bring It All, as well as Gower and then Jehu. We'll see if we can get back in with that group of B riders momentarily. We do have the front end of the race here. It is going to be Grupo Compacto now, as you can see. It is Gavin Richardson, Gama, right along with Sternfalk, J Scott, Johan Grant, Haselstead, and then it will be Mateus and Szerzynski. The Melty Man is there as well. It looks like Burton did fall off the group, though, and has gone back to the chase group, as we are seeing Fleetwood lead out that chase group into the combos. About 53 seconds up is the front runners from this chase group. It does look like 3 Vision Boys hanging in amongst this crowd right here. 1 TFC rider along with a KRT rider as well. A couple of riders riding unattached, it looks like, too. It does look like Fallberg here. Interesting. I'm not familiar with Fallberg out of the US of A, riding in the Europe race today. We'll have to see what kind of results he's had. He's done a 4.8 watts per kilogram so far for his 20-minute power out there, so solid so far. Dane Fallberg looks like he's a cyclocross racer, actually, from his Strava profile pic. 2 races out on Zwift, actually. Looks like he's just jumping into the world of Zwift racing. Nice pink Zwift bike out there, it looks like, and hanging out in the, it looks like, is that the Radavost kit, I believe? Let's go ahead and see. Yep, that is solid kit to be representing. It has FTP of 258. It looks like he did the Kiss Americas way back on March 15th. So it looks like he's jumping back into the world of Zwifting as we head into the fall and winter. Steven, good to see Fallberg out there. Maybe also jumping in for the Zwift Academy. I know I've been thinking about jumping on the bike a little bit more. Did about a 2.5 to 3 hour ride yesterday just to start warming up, because I know that there's going to be group rides, workouts, and races that we have to do as a part of Zwift Academy. And if we're going to be doing those live, we definitely don't want to be showing up too much. You need to be getting some good workouts. And so make sure to, if you want to jump into that, definitely check out academy.zwift.com. Men's and women's program. Really, really cool. Going to be launching coming up this, I believe it is it this Friday then? That is, yep, this Friday. The 1st of September is the launch date for the Zwift Academy. So if you haven't signed up already, make sure to do so. You complete it, you get an in-game kit. For every 10 men that complete the men's program, 1 bike will be given away to the Quebec Foundation. That's actually the same people, the Power of Bicycles here, WBR. Really awesome initiative that they're doing with Team Dimension Data and the Quebec Foundation to better people's lives through the power of bicycles. We just see the Melty Man now showing off the power of bicycles off the front here real quickly, giving a little bit of a sprint. Looks like he's going for the best sprint time actually right now. Ellis had a 17:16. Melty Man maybe beating it by about 2 seconds, but Johan letting them know, no, it doesn't matter if you're up ahead of me, because I was a part of the group and I attacked from the back, got the draft, and it looks like Gama was able to take it down with the 15:34. That's all for bragging rights with that sprint out there out on course there. But yeah, again, the Zwift Academy though, launching for the men's, it's going to be for every 10 people who complete it, 1 bicycle given away to the Quebec Foundation. So get out there just for that reason. But then there's also the reason of bettering your fitness, being a part of a community, joining up with the group rides, and then also a pro contract to the U23 Continental team for Team Dimension Data for the men's side, for U23 riders that are a part of the program. And on the women's side, pro contract to the Canyon Tram team next year as well will be given away to 1 finalist after the semifinals, and then the top 3. There will be a top 3 selection that actually go to a training camp with Team Dimension Data or Canyon Tram, depending if you're on the women's or the men's side. And then 1 finalist announced after the training camp. So definitely a cool program. That golden ticket is out there, Willy Wonka style. So go ahead and sign up and jump in if to shoot for that, or just to better yourself through the power of bicycles and better other people's lives, especially with that Quebec Foundation that is matched up with it. So, all right, but one of the calmer sections out on course, the more tactical sections out on course, we did see a couple of attacks through the sprint section for fun. It looked like trying to grab those fast times. Looking at the chase group here, that is all Grupo Compacto. Nobody really thinking they're going to bring back those front runners for that top 9 position. So Fleetwood, Watson, Fallberg, the Hedgehog as well. Does look like Termon about 47 seconds back, but able to hold on to 20 seconds in this B category. But this is going to be be a whole lot of solo TT suffering right now. Him and MD are going to have to work together to hold off. It looks like Wilkes here from Innovation. Woodtox, you know that these boys have exactly what. Here's what's cool about Zwift is that you can see exactly what the other riders are putting out at any moment out on course here. So MD at 5.1 watts per kilogram here, trying to hold on at the front of this duo here as they throw down, it looks like 27 miles per hour, 13.4 in, half hour in. A lot of matches already burnt as they came through the start-finish area and the climbs. But as you can see, Termont here now working with MD to hold off P. Chunky right along with Bigadol and Wilkes and Whitlocks. This is for the W, the win in the B category right now. Termont hanging on to MD's wheel, just looking for that draft as they're going to try and put out more watts per kilogram, a higher watts per kilogram ratio here for the duration all the way to the finish line, because then they know that they can hold off the riders that are chasing them down. 19 seconds here. So these boys, if they want to see the front end, they're going to have to get organized. If they want to win this race, they can't have any infighting. Everybody's got to pull their fair share at the front, or else riders are going to start saying, if you're not pulling, I'm not pulling. Everybody's got to put out the effort, and if anybody's just not interested in, like, whatever, I'll set it for second, I'll sit in, or maybe a few of them think, you know what, we're going to catch them no matter what, let them dangle out there. 19 seconds, I can close that down with a solid attack up and over the top of the climbs here. Now nobody's working together now, it looks like, or at least there's not a whole lot of working together, as Bring It All from the Vikings team here is kicking it off the front here, 5.9 watts per 182 beats per minute. Looking to chase down Termont MD and not stay with the group, not work with the group. He's looking to close it down all by his lonesome here. We'll give him a ride on for the effort. They're super aggressive now, as we are seeing Wilkes here, maybe thinking that that's going to come back. We'll just rise the tempo up just a little bit, 4.0 watts per kilogram or so, bring him right back into the fold. But Bring It All continues to get away. The Viking power is real here, boys and girls. The Norwegian here, 193 beats per minute, almost with Termont now. MD has gone away, but now Termont can see that the bridge is happening and maybe wants to work with the fellow B rider to hold off Peach Unkley and Whitlocks and the rest of them. So maybe what's happening here is Termont and Bring It All looking to throw down off the front here. Now it looks like the Viking man has caught up and now is along with Termont, but goes right on by Termont. Termont not on point with the speed as the Viking comes by here. Will it happen? 400 watts. Can he hang on to the effort here? 173 beats per minute. We'll give him a ride on, and it looks like they do have 12 seconds, but it's been closed down because of the waiting game that's been played in the tactics. If they don't take advantage of it here and they just kind of wear out from what the games that they've been playing, it is only 14 seconds now. 3.6 watts per kilogram here from the front end of this group. Now out to 14, it is starting to go up a little bit. Will they chase down MD and now form a group of 3 here on the front end of this B category? 189 beats per minute though, absolutely killing themselves, it looks like, out on course here just to hang on for this B category race. Now up at the front of the race now, we are seeing, it looks like Grupo Compacto still, they are definitely waiting for the climbs to be happening, along with Johan Gren, Gama, Szerzinski, Mateus here, J. Scott, it looks like G. Richardson, the Melty Men, still all Grupo Compacto. The Hedgehog is off the back and hanging in amongst this chase group. I don't think they're going to see him again, but they have brought back, it looks like, a solid 20 seconds or so with a little bit of complacency in that front group. Burton now though attacking, looking to close some things down or maybe catch a few stragglers who are unable to hang on to that front group. And as we saw Burton though early on in this race, it was a matter of meters for Burton here early on in this race. He was unable to hang on to a wheel or two. It was just a second or just 5 meters or 10 meters or so where he got dropped off, and he was able to hang on to those wheels. He might have been in and amongst that front group. So 55 seconds is the difference here. I don't think he's going to see them again, but he may be one of the strongest here amongst his chase group and not looking for it to come down to the climbs or a sprint finish, trying to get away super early, feeling like it's a little complacent maybe, kicks it off the front here, representing the Friday Criterium team, the TFC team, and now has a solid 10 seconds off the front. Fallberg here trying trying to chase that down. Fleetwood's coming now as well there from Vision Cycling. They do have strength in numbers here, Vision, it looks like, with Quint LaFay as well as Fleetwood. It looks like, actually, there was one dropped off, I think, that there was one more. So somebody's been dropped off in and amongst the Vision Cycling boys from this chase group, as I do believe there was 3 early on and no longer amongst them. I think it might have been Termont. I'm not positive, but that's way back at this point. Now back at the front here as they head into the industrial park, they're starting to line up. 138, we're seeing 145. Heart rates are super low, boys and girls. Nobody attacking, everybody waiting for those last moments out on course here. And those climbs are so incredibly punchy. It's everything you got to the top of Libby Hill, hanging on a 107. 107.8 is what they did up and over the top there, and that was coming from Szerzynski there. Bike Point there as well, coming with a 108. We are seeing the Melty Man with a 109, 109. Gama here was about 5 seconds off the back, actually, maybe even 6 for that climb up and over the top, actually, here. Looking at these times up above me, actually, for these climbs, because the climbs are where those gaps are opened up and where all the tactics as far as drafting go just go out the window. It's just raw power. What do you got? You're going to see most likely who's going to be taking the W's for the win out here today, maybe by judging what these times are. Szerzynski with the 107, Mateus there with the 108. I have a feeling maybe a few of them were holding back though. First time up and over the top, and perhaps it was the climb up and over the top of 23rd Street that we should be looking at with a 24, a 25, and a 25 there from Sternfalk, Szerzynski. All these top 4, they were the ones that got away up and over the top and then was closed down by the chase group of Gren and the others here. So now Hazelstead here now at the front here out of Norway, 141. Look at how low these heart rates are, resting up, waiting for the attacks up and over the top of the climb here. Lee Gosden says, nice hat, Nathan. Thanks a lot, appreciate it. 1st September, my birthday. David Crisp, you need to jump out there. Come on. Is that the Colonel? Colonel, come on now. Get into that ZA ride on Friday. We want to see you out there for the social ride on Friday for the Swift Academy. You're going to jump in there. You know you want to. For that's a great ride on the birthday there. So good to see Carol Tower hanging out over at the broadcast, as well as Rogers. A couple of comments there coming through. Let's hear your predictions as they're lining up for these final attacks up and over the top of the climb in this A category today. We've got Szerzynski. All right, we've got Poland out there. We've got a couple of running out of Portugal with Gama as well as Mateus. We've got Sternfalk for Vision Cycling in amongst this lead group right now. We've got Johan Gren riding for the PTZ team as well. 2 PTZ riders will be PTZ. We've got the Melty Man from the KISS Racing team is in there. We've also got Gavin Richardson coming from Innovation. Hazelstead from Velocity. A whole lot of power. Jay Scott there as well, riding unattached, actually, out of the UK. Jed Scott, 49 races out on Zwift. Took a win, actually, in the WBR laps of the Hilly course back on the 29th. Also a 4th place in the 29th. He's been racing a lot out on Zwift. Watch out for this rider. Tons of races in the past over the summer, actually. It looks like all the way back from June. So watch out for maybe Scott to throw down Jed Scott to throw down up on the top of Libby Hill. So who do you think is going to take the win? Johan Gren has been fairly unstoppable as of recently, riding for that PTZ team. He's got a couple of W's there underneath his belt. Looking through the results coming out of Sweden, 4 races out on Zwift. It says he's got a lot more than that, actually. Riding for PTZ, KISS Australia, Ecrit, and West Ecrit. Took a win and a 3rd place, actually, in those recently. EVR Europe race took a 2nd place in that back on the 28th, so watch out for Gren. They're lining up toward the front end of the race here. Who's it going to be? Jay Scott now up at the front there. It looks like on that Elite Trainer, followed up by Gavin Richardson. Gren now 7.1 watts per kilogram. They're starting to rise those heart rates up. We're going to see 159 here coming from Gama there. Melting Man looks like 144. The heart rate's super low, but we're definitely going to start to see the raising up of the wattages right along with the heart rates. And the 176 here coming from Sternfalk. Give him a ride on as he tries to make that initial attack. But here comes Melting Man here, 7.2. Leading it out though. Sternfalk able to hang on. 7 watts per kilogram, 183 beats per minute. Can he hold on to this kind of wattage all the way to the top there? He's going to have to hold on to this solid effort here. Now Gren now 7.4 watts per kilogram, making his way to the front. The orange number starting to kick now. 9 watts watts per kilogram here coming from Sternfalk now. 10 watts per kilogram, 188 beats per minute. It continues to rise. I'm not sure he's got a few, and I'm not sure he's got too many more to work with though. 176 here, Melty Man 8.7 now. Here comes a feather power up though from Straczynski here, bringing down the weight on that avatar. Sternfalk still at the front, 191, absolutely killing it right now. Bite point now 2 seconds off the back. This is a moment for truth for these boys. If they do not close this down, that will go out to 5 seconds very quickly here. And it looks like we've got 4 off the front. Johan Gren's gonna have to hold on to Melty Man's wheel, but he's got to trust the Melty Man to close it down, as it is 1 second here. Gren now seeing that the Melty Man unable to hold on to the pace here. 165 coming from Brandon Melting Tallow. Now we do see Straczynski here, 3.6 now at the front now, and they do have the gap. It is out to 4 seconds. I don't think Bite Point's gonna see them again. 6 watts per kilogram coming from Bite Point out of Portugal. Scott now off the back now. It looks like Hazelstead gonna have to hold on for a little bit of a gap over the innovation boy Gavin Richardson here for a top 10 position here, but not for a top 5. As Sternfalk, Straczynski, and Melty Man get away. Mateus Bite Point does close it down, but unable to hang on for the sharp kicks up into the top of Libby Hill. I have a feeling they will fall off again as they head up and over the top of 23rd Street climb. So it looks like that poor old Norwegian heart Jenfried drives me insane. And we'll have to see if Sternfalk is going to be able to throw down. Man, that was a crazy high heart rate. 192 we saw at one point. Sternfalk, can he hold on as he threw down huge wattage? What a tactic here from the Melty Man though, as he threw down that arrow power up going into the climb. Tons of speed, holds on to that speed in the 10 watts per kilogram. Has a gap now of 1 second over Sternfalk. Sternfalk kicks into 12 watts per kilogram. Gren trying to go right along with him. This is it. This is for the win here, boys and girls. If you get away right here, the group will not be seen again. Straczynski's unable to hold on. 2 seconds will quickly turn into 10. Up over the top. If they have continuance, Gren rests immediately though. 182 beats per minute. Does not have any more power. And Straczynski's going to be allowed to come back though, as it looks like 8 watts per kilogram, 180 beats per minute. I can't believe they let him come back, and he goes flying right on by. If he continues, they won't see him again maybe. We'll see if he can grab onto some meters here over the rest of the pack here. It is out to 6 meters. They do not have a draft. Sternfalk now resting up. They're all in Sagan tucks. They're just looking for a little bit of respite. Top 4 here off the front. 8 seconds back to Mateus here. 5.1 watts per kilogram. Trying to hold on to this pace and bring it back. We'll give him a ride on for the efforts, but he's not going to see them again, I think, with 8 seconds off the front now. Last climb into Governor Street is all that's going to be between these boys in first place, and who is going to have the effort. Who's going to, and this is the interesting thing about Governor Street. It is this VO2 max type effort. You just set it at the highest possible wattage you can for the duration, and then make sure that you have a kick again at the end, right? So it's all about, can you hold on to the wheel of the rider who's going to set that incessant pace at the front, or are you going to drop off, or are you going to be the one who tries to instigate and set it at the highest possible pace you possibly can? Because it's just all out to the top. It's only 3 minutes. There's no tactics about it. It's just, what kind of power do you have? It's even a falls flat once you get up and over the top. You do get a little bit of a draft up and over the top, but there's still the ability to just turn the screws on the rest of the riders there and put the hurt on. That's the beautiful thing about Governor Street climb at the end of this, is you can just throw down everything you got, and if you have the power, you can break everybody else around you. There's no tactics up and over to the top. Bobby Glue's saying Gavin Richardson for the win. I'm not sure it's going to happen. He's off the back at this point. He's going to have to close down a huge gap at this point. Gren now going 8.89 watts per kilogram, 168 beats per minute. Sternfalk trying to follow here with that feather power up. Gren though, just like we said, just going goodbye. 175 beats per minute. We see 572 watts coming from Johan Gren. Sternfalk trying to close it down. Straczynski hanging on, but now there's a gap between Sternfalk and Straczynski here, and they're setting a crazy pace at the front. Gren's got a solid 3 seconds, and I think he's going to take the win today. Adam Webb saying, Melty Man, come on. Lewis Dinsdale saying, go KRT, go Melty Man. Type 2 fun, boys and girls. Dinsdale's calling out the Melty Man for the win today. A little bit of motivation, Melty Man, to close that down right now. Uses that drafting power up. It's between him and Bike Point for the sprint for fourth place, out there today, as Gren is absolutely gone with a 5 second gap, 185 beats per minute. Sternfalk going to throw it down and try and hold on for second place against Szerzynski. Szerzynski with 15 meters, not sure he's going to see it again. And as we were saying, you can just set that pace, and if you've got the power, you're not going to be seen again up over the top of Governor Street. Such a difficult climb to hang on to anybody's wheel, and we are seeing Johan Gren out of Sweden for Team PTZ. He's going to be taking the W here today with a monstrous effort up in 190 beats per minute. Up and out of the sail. Sternfalk here now 8 watts per kilogram. Oh no, Szerzynski might get the better of him. Sternfalk just too many matches burnt to the line. Szerzynski takes second, followed by Sternfalk in third. It will be the Melty Man with a kick to the line, making KRT proud, it looks like, here for fourth place with 100 meters to go. I don't think that bike point will be able to come around at the end here. So Melty Man, solid effort there for him for fourth place, followed by Mateus. Mateus, though, throws down a 21:01 and takes the orange jersey out on course, it looks like, for the open world riding there. Gama now sprinting to the line up ahead of Hazelstead. Not going to be caught by him, though, for a top 10 position here. Gavin Richardson, though, from Innovation now throwing down to the line. We'll give Hazelstead a ride on, but unable to throw down against Richardson as a CVR World Cup London participant is able to come by and show what he's got here. All right, moving backwards here. Let's see where the rest of the riders are at. We are seeing Watson here now coming to the line with Fallberg outside the top 10, I believe, but it is going to be an arrow power up being thrown down by the American there. 8.5 watts per kilogram now, as we're seeing the cyclocross rider here making his way to the line, but it will be Burton that has something to say about that. And Fallberg 8.2. Quentin LaFay, though, is there as well. 8.9 watts per kilogram, 9 watts per kilogram, 100 meters to go, but too late as Fallberg able to take the sprint, followed by Quentin LaFay. Burton in his next one across the line, then R. Watson will be Gardner now with a little bit of sprint, not a part of go Power Rangers. All right, here we go with Fleetwood now across the line here, and then it will be Ellis as well, making his way to the line. We are looking for the rest of the B category riders. It is going to be Andy J from Team ODZ. Solid effort here in amongst the B riders. Were they able to catch Termont, Wilkes, P. Chunky, all of them? Wow, what an effort here from these riders. Boys and girls, we saw earlier that 10 to 13 second gap. We saw MD off the front, was not caught here by these B riders, but it was Termont right along with the Vikings rider. Bring it all, but it didn't end up panning out for that break. They threw the chips on the table, but looks like there were pocket rockets here coming from Wilkes as well as Andy J from Team ODZ. ODZ representing out there. But now we got P. Chunky throwing the chunky watts down. 6.8 watts per kilogram, 171 beats per minute with the gray beard. And solid effort here from P. Chunky, 7.2 watts per kilogram. He's going to be taking the W here, it looks like, in the B category. This is for the win, just ahead of Andy J. And then it will be Wilkes here able to hold off the Innovation rider. But P. Chunky, solid effort there, right to the line. ODZ will be taking second place, followed by Innovation for third. Another Innovation rider across the ride for Gower then, and then it will be Whitlocks. We do see a runner out on course. Cool to see somebody taking advantage of the running as they come to the line here. Whitlocks will give him a ride on as he's able to come by in A category rather with Noreen out of the US of A. Bring it all here. Where is Termont? Timothy Termont was killing it off the front, but too early perhaps, and no longer in and amongst the Vikings. Here it looks like there's Termont there out of Belgium. Solid 58. And as you can see here, you can get punished pretty badly if you throw down too much too early out on course in Zwift. We are seeing Person now making his way to the line. I do want to highlight the runner for those of you who are new to the world of Zwift. We are seeing, it looks like, I Reeves out on course here, taking the new running feature for a walk. I wanted to say a spin, but out there for a walk and jog, it looks like, at this point. Now Silva here to the line with Wilson. Up and over the saddle, it looks like Wilson's got 9 watts per kilogram to give, and is going to be taking that win in this sprint up against Holman as well as De Silva. Termont now battling to the line behind Hagen. Mason here with another sprint, 7.0 watts per kilogram. Hagen there coming out of New Zealand, trying to chase that down early morning for him to get a workout here out on Zwift, followed up by Termont, who was out the front front early on, but a little bit too much too early to the line. All right, we do got Brown here out ahead of Stuart Lynn, PTZ. Good to see him out on course coming out of Canada. Solid effort here on that Cervelo S5 with what wheels you got going on there, Lynn? Interesting choice of the wheels. Tubbs here right along with Blake. KRT going to be maybe getting the sprint here just ahead of D. Ellis. Hannah Slade, though, solid effort from her. Actually, Ellis, though, has got a solid, it looks like 9 watts per kilogram and maybe going to be coming across. No, a little bit too little too late, but Hannah Slade representing the women out on course, taking first place amongst them, and a solid orange jersey for the women out on course, and the queen of the mountain there too. So good to see Hannah Slade taking the W in amongst the women out there today in the KISS race, EU race today. So now Grunwell across the line as well in that B category. We do have some of the C category racers here. We will get in amongst them in just a moment. Let's go ahead and see who's lining up for the sprint there in the C category. I am seeing, it looks like F. Alfonso. Is there a relation to BJ Alfonso? That's interesting to see. I'm clicking through here, trying to find the front end of the C category. I think we do have it right now, as we are seeing a cooldown here, maybe from Joswick coming out of the US of A. In amongst the C riders now, we are seeing, it looks like Leinekugel. D. Pouncey, though, pouncing early on. BJ Alfonso actually here, and S. Williams up ahead of him. BJ Alfonso now 4.0 watts per kilogram to the line, it looks like. Let's go ahead and see what's happening with ZwiftPower.com to see where these riders are lining up against each other. It will be W. Tesnar out of South Africa with 3.5 watts per kilogram. Whitaker as well at 3.7 off the front. S. Williams, though, is within category limits, so this will be the official winner here for the C category. Solid effort for S. Williams under the 3.2 maximum, but now BJ Alfonso now taking a second place, I believe, as he comes to the line. We are going into the open world, though, as they do come across the line, so we are trying to keep track as they do make their way to the line. BJ Alfonso then at 2.7 watts per kilogram. He's just about to be caught by G Gun to the line. It looks like he will be able to hold off for second place out there today in the C category, followed by G Gun for third place out there today. Looking through for some of the comments here, it looks like D. Williams. So running a new feature, Swedish House Cycling, been there for a while. Swedish House Cycling, it is a new feature out on Zwift that was recently released out of beta. So it is definitely a new feature out on Zwift, just released out of beta. It was not completely available and readily usable. So definitely so it's been around for months, but it was recently released and ready to go to all platforms. It was available through Bluetooth for a very long time through iOS devices, and then it was released over to the PC as of recently, and then is no longer hiding, so you don't have to find it as an Easter egg. Swedish House Cycling, it's really good to see you over at the broadcast, though. Been a long time no see. If you do have any questions or comments, make sure to bring them on through Zwift's Facebook or through tweeting at Zwift Z Community Live. We'll be here for a couple more minutes if you have any questions or comments. Again, we saw a lot about the Zwift Academy. We had talked a lot about it. Great to see the different categories. Race Lee Gosden says, thanks a lot, Lee Gosden. Appreciate the comment. We like to bring them in as much as we possibly can. And as we come into the winter months, we'll be doing that a lot more. We did just see Van der Tuin out of the Netherlands coming across the line, followed by D. Nicholson out of the C category as well, coming out of Great Britain. But yeah, we were talking a ton about the Zwift Academy. If you would like to jump into the Zwift Academy, it's going to be launching on September 1st. The men's and the women's 8 workouts, 5 group rides, 2 races. Graduate and unlock exclusive in-game jersey. For every 10 graduates, 1 bike will be donated to the Quebec Foundation. That is for the men's. And then for the women's, 8 workouts, 5 group rides, and 2 races. Graduate and unlock exclusive in-game jersey and other real-world prizes for the Women's Zwift Academy. 10 riders advance to the semifinals. Each wins a Wahoo trainer, actually, for the women's. For the U23, for the semifinals,